Let's make some cheesy lasagna. This recipe has been in my family for as long as I can remember, and it is the best lasagna recipe I've ever tried. I wouldn't claim this as authentic lasagna. I would say this is American lasagna. This lasagna uses a cottage cheese mixture rather than ricotta cheese or bechamel sauce. Cottage cheese is a popular substitute for ricotta cheese, which is a little bit more expensive. Cottage cheese also is higher in protein and less in fat. Ricotta is a super rich, smooth, creamy cheese, whereas cottage cheese is a little bit more liquidy, salty, and chunky cheese. I like both variations, but some people do prefer one over the other. Traditional recipes will use a ground beef and ground pork mixture. In my recipe, I'm using only sausage, but I normally will do a half and half with ground beef and sausage. I'm doing this mainly for the convenience factor. If you don't want any meat, you can totally take the meat out and swap it for some vegetables. In fact, for my 18th birthday, I actually had a vegetarian lasagna because I was going through a phase of not liking meat, and it was actually almost better than lasagna with meat. I was being super lazy with this lasagna, so I didn't want to boil my lasagna noodles before I made the lasagna, so I am using oven-ready noodles. These are great if you're in a time pinch and you want lasagna, but you don't necessarily have time to boil the noodles and go through all of the steps. Because we're making a super cheesy lasagna, I'm using 2 different types of cheese. Technically, it would be more like 7 because I'm using an Italian style blend, which included provolone, parmesan, mozzarella, Asiago, fontina, and a few other cheeses. You can use just mozzarella like a regular lasagna, or you can mix up your own Italian style blend and put in your favorite Italian cheeses. When I make lasagna, I like to serve it with some garlic bread as well as some fresh French green beans and maybe a Caesar salad too. If eating lasagna brings a lot of heartburn to you, you could try adding a teaspoon of sugar into the meat mixture, which helps to cut down the acidity of the mixture due to the tomatoes. This definitely isn't a healthy dinner, but it definitely is a delicious dinner. Are you someone who makes your own lasagna, or do you buy a frozen lasagna? Let me know, and let me know if you give this recipe a shot. I would love to know your thoughts. Have a happy day, and I will see you next time.